What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Sunday drive. Now, if you noticed, we are not in Little Wing today. This is an E46 325i, and besides it being very clean, it's also pretty rare. Now, E46 325i's aren't super rare, they're actually fairly common cars. But this one is rare because it features an SMG transmission. Now, there are a few non-M E46s that have SMG transmissions, but they're very far and few between. In fact, I just finished doing a full cooling system rebuild on this, and when I went into real OEM, it didn't even show like SMG as an option. It was manual and it was automatic. So when I went to go buy parts for it, like on ECS Tuning or Turner Motorsport or wherever I bought it from, it was like automatic or manual. There was no SMG option. Now, in hindsight, it is technically a manual. I would imagine if you had an SMG and didn't know to treat it like it was a manual, you might get a little bit confused when trying to find parts. Now, SMGs are a little bit weird and kind of tricky. Now, if you don't know about SMGs, it's basically a dual clutch with only one clutch. So before they had the dual clutches, they had the SMGs. These are very notorious in the E46 M3s, but not so much in the non-M models like this one. So if you've never heard about an SMG before, or you're not familiar with them, don't think of it as an automatic transmission. Think of it as a manual transmission with automatic clutch control and automatic shifter control. So there actually is a clutch in this, and it drives very much like a manual. You can feel the clutch going, I can feel it shift, and then I can feel it pull the clutch out. So it's very manual-ish. If you let your foot off the brake at a stop, you roll back because it has a clutch. They're kind of weird to drive at first, I won't lie. After you get used to it, it's kind of fun to play with. If you've never driven one before, the best analogy I can come up with is imagine driving a stick shift, except the clutch and the shifter are operated by a passenger. You don't control them, you don't touch the shifter or the clutch. That's what it feels like. Now, as far as performance goes for this car, it is just a 325i. Little Wing will trounce this thing because it is a convertible. It is a good bit heavier, it has less power, so it's not a really super fast car. It's enjoyable to drive, and it's kind of fun with the SMG, I won't lie. And because this isn't my car, I'm gonna play nice with it. I'm not gonna beat on it, but it's still pretty fun to drive. Now, it's a little bit different in a car like this, a non-M, because when you think of non-M E46s, you think of either the standard PRND automatic, or you think of the stick shift. You don't really think of an SMG transmission in one, which kind of puts the SMG in a different light. Now, with the E46 M3, you either get the SMG or the automatic. So, like in E46 M3, the bottom of the barrel is the SMG. Now, with a non-M like this, the SMG, the way I see it, it's above the automatic but below the manual. I would still prefer a manual transmission in a car like this, but it's a lot better than the standard PRND automatic. In that respect, it does put it in a little bit of a different light. This could be a standard PRND automatic transmission, but because it's the SMG, it's a little bit more fun. It's not the smoothest. Anyone who's decently fluent in manual transmission can be much smoother. It is a little bit clunky around town. The first get off the line's a little bit shaky sometimes. Now, if you watched last week's Sunday drive, we went over the differences between an automatic transmission and a manual transmission. And the SMG is kind of a combination of both. In my opinion, if you were going to get an automatic, the SMG is the way to go. In the automatic versus manual video, we talked about transmission management and how that completely dictates how the car drives. And how with the normal PRND automatics that are in these and in the E36s, you get really garbage communication with the car. Now, with this car, it being an SMG, it's predominantly manual, and you have paddle shifters. And this is what I was talking about when you have a great way to communicate with the transmission about what you want from the car. So I can flick it down and it'll drop gear, and I can communicate with the car like that. And it makes it a lot more enjoyable to drive. If you were gonna get an automatic, get an SMG. And if you can't afford an E46 M3, these are out there. The ones with the SMGs are out there. They're just a little bit harder to find. And so you can throw it in, play around with the paddles, and when you don't want it, you bump the shifter over, and then it's basically just like a normal automatic. So if you want to drive stick, kind of, but you don't want to drive stick in traffic, you can always get an SMG. Now, that being said, I rarely drive this car. This is a family friend car that I rebuilt the full cooling system on. And so just driving it around every now and then with the SMG, it is fun. I can't really tell you guys how fun it would be to daily drive something like this with this transmission. It is a little bit clunky at low speeds, and the shifts aren't super crisp or super fast, but it is enjoyable in the short game, if you know what I mean. It's fun though. I enjoy it because it's different. You know, you don't really get that many SMG cars around here, especially non-Ms. Alright, run a little bit of the hill, watch for the rollback. There it is. For those of you guys who have had SMG cars, tell me honestly what you think. And don't compare it to the manual, compare it to the standard PRND automatic. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Because I'll be honest, just driving this around town every now and then, the SMG is kind of fun to play with. But, I mean, this car isn't particularly fast, not that I'm beating on it, but it's just fun to flick around with it, you know? I will say I would take this over the standard automatic. Oh, this makes me miss my convertible. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Sunday drive. This was a Sunday drive that I shot a while ago. I want to say a little over a month ago, but I shot another one the same week and decided to put that one out instead, so this footage is just basically sat. So I didn't get a Sunday drive video shot for this week, so I just basically R&R'd this whole footage, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching, keep it fresh, and I'll see you guys later.